Maybe Fury comes on to fight AJ now. God, I wish. 6 rounds or less, no problem.
This is Jonathan Agger, fifth Pro Boxing Fans here in Monte Carlo, ahead of Cordina against Vazquez this Saturday live on DAZN. Eddie, from one super featherweight world title fight straight into another this weekend. How are you feeling about the whole show?
Yeah, really good. I mean, Cancun to Monaco is an interesting mix. I think it's a really good card on Saturday. A lot of international flavour, a couple of great fights, and I think a tough fight for Joe Cordina. You know, Vazquez is talking very well. A lot of people fancy his chances from America, but I think Joe is, as I said, the number one 130 pounder in the world, and I think he'll prove that on Saturday.
You know, Cordina obviously isn't looking past this, but Foster's been the name that's been spoken about. Is there any pressure on him to kind of look as good as Foster did last week?
Yeah, I mean, look, Foster was losing the fight, but he pulled it out of the bag in the 11th and the 12th round particularly, and you know, it was a massive win for him, profile perspective. I think Joe is good enough to win all the belts in the division, and we've got to start making a dent in that. You know, he's made it clear to everybody he wants as much money as possible for whatever fight's possible, so we want to make him the biggest fights, but we also want to put a path together to try and win all those belts, and Foster's a very good fighter, and if Joe comes through Saturday, I think the unifications could be next.
Do we rule out that Lee Wood fight given the Josh Warrington rematch?
No, I don't think we rule it out, but you know, it all depends on the Josh Warrington negotiations, but also for Joe. You know, Joe's the champion. It's really up to him to decide what he wants to do. If that's a fight at the City Ground and the money was right, I'm sure he'd look at that as well. But if that was a fight for a unification outdoors in Cardiff or in Vegas or New York, I'm sure he'd look at those options as well. But for me, given the quality of Joe Cordina, I would like to see him try and win the other belts.
Now, you said in the presser that Suleiman Sissoko is on the verge of a world title shot, welterweight. I mean, who against do you think it would happen?
I think once the belts start fragmenting, which inevitably they will, he's well placed in the governing bodies, particularly with the WBC, to get that shot. He needs to look good on Saturday. We've got 3 Mexicans on this card, in Guzman, in Ariel and Lucero, and I think Lucero will suit him down to the ground, but we want him to be entertaining, exciting, and put a statement performance together that makes people start calling his names for the big fights at 147.
And for those that didn't watch the Ramla Ali fight last time out, is she a brave fighter going straight back in?
I don't know if you saw the head-to-head, but I was petrified. Listen, she deserves a huge amount of credit. She was outboxing Guzman, and she can do it again, but Guzman is so confident. You know, she carries great power as well. She's going to be on Ramla like a rash from the first round. Ramla's got to be super disciplined in this fight, and she can win the fight. But, you know, as I said, Guzman coming with a lot of confidence here.
So moving on, I know you've spoken about Fury and Ngannou, but George Groves says that he reckons Fury either retires or rematches Ngannou. Do you see any chance he retires?
I do, actually, yeah. I mean, you never know what Tyson's going to do. But Tyson doesn't like criticism. You know, you saw him, he didn't do a post-fight presser. He banned TalkSport. If you're going to take fights like that for money and they don't go your way, you've got to at least go out and face the music. So he's going to get a huge amount of criticism, which, you know, but that might make him spring back in the Usyk fight, or it might make him think, fuck this, I can't be bothered anymore. I just don't know. I don't know if he's the same fighter, and you know, I always said I think he beats Usyk. Now I'm not so sure, and I don't think he'll want to lose to Usyk either. So you may see him just doing rematching Ngannou. But I guess the Usyk fight will be next, and I hope it is, because we all want to see an undisputed fight, and hopefully he can improve a lot, because he'll need to beat Alexander Usyk.
True Geordie said that this defeat's destroyed his legacy. Do you agree? I mean, I know they've had a beef in the past,
but guess that True Geordie, you know, this is the thing with Tyson. He's very outspoken to other people, me included. So when he fights like that, or when you can't just expect people to sugarcoat it. And someone like True Geordie is going to go the other way and just drill it home. Does it affect his legacy? Of course. Everyone, or most people, thought Ngannou won the fight. You're talking about a guy who says he was the best heavyweight of the generation, just lost to a bloke who's never had a professional fight. So yeah, but he took the fight for money, and it backfired. But does he care? I don't know. I mean, look, he can. If he goes and beats Usyk, I guess that's all rectified. But I just don't know how he's going to take the criticism.
So you've been talking about AJ against Ngannou. So are you no longer interested in the Wilder fight then?
Sure. Listen, I don't know whether Ngannou would want to fight AJ. Originally he did, and I've not even spoke to AJ about the Ngannou fight. But my advice for AJ is if an Ngannou fight can be made, jump all over it. I mean, people are now talking that Ngannou can beat every heavyweight out there. Like, we'll show you what happens when AJ fights Francis Ngannou. But if they want it, we'd look at that. But that would be before the Wilder fight. Still our plans to fight Deontay Wilder.
So has Shelley Finkel spoken to you about this possibility? Because I'm sure you'd have to tell them first, right?
Yeah, we've been speaking to Shelley Finkel a number of times about the fight. Don't forget, we'd all agreed the fight for Saudi Arabia. The deal was done. They reneged on that offer, and now we're looking at alternative venues for that fight. So, but you know, the Ngannou fight is only relevant should they wish to take it. But if not, our plan would remain the same, which is, you know, fight in December or January and then go into the Wilder fight. AJ's priority is to try and position himself for a shot at the world heavyweight title. That's what he really cares about.
Are you confident we get the Wilder fight in April?
Yeah, I am, because I think Wilder's got no. I mean, look, Wilder might fight Ngannou. Who knows? But that's the biggest fight out there, really, available for AJ, other than the Tyson Fury fight. You never know. Maybe Fury comes on to fight AJ now. God, I wish. 6 rounds or less, no problem. And we'll have to see in this mad heavyweight world.
Dmitry Bivol's out in Saudi Arabia, did a face-off with Beterbiev. What's the latest with him?
So he looks to return in January, possibly January the 13th in Las Vegas. And then we want to make the Beterbiev fight. There's been a few approaches about that fight. Obviously he fights Callum Smith, and I truly believe Callum Smith wins that fight by knockout. So if we can do Beterbiev, if we can do Callum Smith against Bivol for the undisputed, even better. So we'll have to see.
So that's Bivol headlining you're looking at?
Yeah, headlining in America, January 13th.
Have you come up with any opponents yet?
Not yet. We've got 4 or 5 guys in the mix, and we'll make an announcement soon.
And Prograis Haney, is Tank Davis a likely fight for the winner? Can you get that fight?
Maybe. I think the winner's more likely to fight Ryan Garcia. Obviously, same platform on DAZN. Ryan Garcia will be looking for a shot at the world title. It'll be a massive fight. Haney Prograis flying, selling really well. Can't wait for that December 9th. And we'll see who comes out on top.
Just final one, just wondering, are you going to be buying, or have you bought John Fury's new book? And I read it on the plane, and you're not disappointed.
Oh, damn, no.
It is a good read.
Yeah, I like John Fury. I think John Fury's really funny. I think we've just established that John Fury's on a wind-up. Do you know what I mean? Because at first I just thought he used to just take his shirt off and just start on everyone. But it's just, look at the value that John Fury added to the Misfits card and to Saudi Arabia. I hope he's getting paid a nice few quid, because he's the source of the entertainment. So I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think he's good for boxing.
Brilliant. Eddie Hearn, appreciate your time ahead of this fight on DAZN Saturday night.